What's up? It's your boy, Nicholas Pickles. So I do streams and stuff about politics, and my little gimmick is I drink apple juice every time I see something. So today's topic is every time I say the word China, I will take a shot. So here's my shot glass, my vodka. I don't drink, so it's going to be a short night, let me just tell you. The stream is officially going to start at 7. I'm just trying to figure out how to work Twitch, and we'll jump into it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How do I change my title? Like, how do I probably should not be showing this page. Let me do this. Is this... No, wait. Yeah, let me do this. Okay. That's probably the best until I figure out how to change my name. Edit stream info. Okay. Okay. Researching Trump's China deal every time I sipping every time I say China. I don't think there was anything on here that like would got me in trouble. Okay. Did I change the title right? This is chatting. Okay. Okay. Very, very cool. Okay, let me turn. Okay, let's start with. Okay. Video capture. Alrighty. I'm so excited. Alrighty, so the TLDR, Trump had come to a trade deal after doing his large tariffs against China. For those initiated, oh, thank you so much. My lovely, beautiful person gave me whatever this is. What is it?
A drink.
A drink. Well, that's good. What is it?
Some other stuff.
Oh my god. Okay. So, I say let's just get it started. My name is Nicholas Pickles. I talk about politics and stuff, and today we're going to be researching the Trump tariffs. So, he had the Liberation Day tariffs. It blew up. Everybody was angry. The stocks went down. But the mindset is that these long-term deals will come out of it. You know, the short-term pain will net a long-term positive. Now, have we gotten there? Because now the tariffs have been brought down, not completely removed and not brought back to where we originally were during Biden's time. So where are we? What deals do we get? Because I couldn't find shit. So I'm just going to click around these articles for a good hour. We're just going to talk about Trump and see if he did, in fact, get the deal that he's been saying he was going to do. So crack open a cold one. Let's go Knicks. And, you know, let's just see where God takes me, you know. I'm just going to open up my activity thingy on my stream just to make sure. I got 2 viewers, baby. Let's go. Let's go. You know, while we're here, you know, Knicks. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Okay, guys, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Celtics are a strong team even without Tatum, so we'll come back. This will be our sort of like, was it like ginger you eat in between meals or something like that to like the palate cleanser? This will be like our palate cleanser because I don't think the Trump deal is a real thing. I also have root beer, 99. I have just pure fun vodka, and then I have a cute little fun drink in a Moscow Mule cup. So, crack open a cold one, boys. Oh, God, that's so good. That's actually really good. All right. Oh, I shouldn't be clapping. I'm realizing I'm peaking way too much. Maybe if I tone this down a little. Okay. Cool. All right, we'll start off with the Investors Business Daily page. So, President Trump's China Damn, I already said China, China, China. Thank you. China. Okay, guys, we already said China 3 times, so you know what that means. Vodka time. I'm just gonna say Zhongguo because I think that's how you say it in Mandarin, and that doesn't count. All right, shipping stocks are among the week's big winner after President Donald Trump slashed 145% Zhongguo tariffs to 30%, likely spurring at least a partial shipping revival after ships from China to U.S. almost completely ceased in recent weeks. So we're going to see that delay. Let's put it out there before I even finish reading this. There's going to be a delay, right? If you stop shipping today, nothing hits the ports. You're not going to see that reflect in the stores until some weeks later. Because think about it. You have clothes on the aisle, like in the racks, right? On the racks in the aisle. Those items are going to be fine. They're untouched by the tariffs. When they deplete in their stock, the tariffs will then be reflected because now we have to go and grab from inventory. We don't have inventory. Let's order the items. The items came in. Oh, shoot, their price here. Let's now add it to the consumer. That's the idea, I think, for most basic economics. I'm very dumbing down it. Even though I am currently doing business as my master's, I am still not in the know for a lot of these items. Mostly because I am a fool, but mainly because, when you're dealing with all of these macro and micro and crazy different economic things, I think there's a lot of factors to play here. But the simple, from my understanding, from my years of very fun education, I know the simplicity of it is that if you're just running a store, you order these items, there's going to be a bit of a delay if tariffs go live today. You're not going to see them tomorrow. You're going to see them whenever you have to reach in and order inventory. And will those prices reflect? We'll see. Will your items even be affected? We'll see. So the tariffs cut and shipping resumption may have come just in time to avoid shortage at retailers, to avoid shortages, which may have been starting to draw down inventory. See, exactly what I said. Sorry, I'm trying to read off of 2 different screens, so I'm not drunk yet. I'm definitely feeling it because I'm a lightweight, and 1 vodka shot would murder me, and it's already feeling it. Reporters reported Wednesday that U.S. booking for cargo ships from China have jumped around 300% in the aftermath of the announcement to the U.S.-China trade deal, according to the container tracking software provider Vision. The U.S. and China will reduce tariffs on each other for 90 days in a dramatic de-escalation of the trade wars between the world's 2 largest economies. The U.S. cut the 145 Trump. Did I say? I said China. God damn. All right, everybody, put your drinks up in the air. That's so good. Okay. I want to specify. When I say the country's name, this is an arbitrary rule. If you hate me, then shoot me. When I say Chinese, that doesn't count. I just want to put that out there. Because my stream is titled the CHINA word, okay? Just so I'm not, dying from alcohol poisoning, okay? Let's just give me a break, guys, okay? Cut the 145 tariff on most Chinese imports to 30% on May 14th, including 20% tariff tied to fentanyl. The C word will cut its 125 tariff on U.S. goods to 10%. The U.S. tariff cuts don't apply to 25% sector duties on steel, aluminum, and more. The tariffs cut are far greater than expected. Several reports last week suggested the U.S. might cut the C-word tariffs to 50 to 60%. Trump posted on May 8th that the 80% seems right. We are in agreement that neither side wants to decouple. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on Monday that the ceasefire in the U.S. war may drive early holiday stockpiling of goods by U.S. retailers. The Financial Times reported Wednesday that with ports and shipping companies expected to jump in demand as retailers take advantage of the lower tariffs on imports. Meanwhile, the global logistics firm Flexport reported this week of the U.S. trade agreement. Demand to the U.S. is expected to surge. Given existing backlogs and lead up to the peak season, we'll likely see a major surge in shipping volumes to the United States. Some carriers have already announced continuations of suspended service loops, Flexport reported. Flexport Chiefs Executive Ryan Peterson added on on Friday that ocean freight bookings in U.S. are up 275 this week compared to last week. However, while the temporary tariff cut in place, uncertainty remains for this shipping sector, even as retailers appear poised to restart shipments from Chinese suppliers. What Trump tariff mean for cargo ships? Alan Murphy, chief executive of Singapore-based research from Sea Intelligence, told IBD earlier Monday that that it is difficult to make any reasonable prediction when policy seems to change on a daily basis, referring to the 90-day tariff reduction. Normally, a pause in tariffs would mean a short-term boost in imports, as importers would front-load volumes to get them in before the tariffs come into effect. But the tariffs during the pause are 30% of imports from, which is higher than any prior tariffs on. The 30 tariff will be borne by Chinese suppliers. You know, I'm going to include Chinese. I feel like I'm being a cop-out now. Yeah, I'm going to include in Chinese. We're drinking, boys. We're drinking. Delicioso. All right. But also by the import seller as well as the consumer or end user squeezing profit margin in pocketbooks. This article has a few more paragraphs, a lot more paragraphs actually, but I'm going to try to get through it before I actually give my 2 cents, but I just want to put it out there. I don't like the tariff war. I think it's kind of stupid. I think our approach to what the issues are, because when I ask people, they kind of differ. When I talk to some people who are big MAGA supporters, they tell me that the idea that we're so reliant on the Zhongguo industry and their exports is killer. Like, it doesn't give room for America to have their own creation. And I agree. I think the idea that we're not a American made country anymore is weird. Like, that used to be sort of this like pivotal thing that made America so great. But I also think people are a bunch of babies. And like, as much as people like to complain about Amazon and how terrible they are as a company, you won't stop using them because you like them, because they're a good product. I think whatever Zhongguo gives us, it's people voting with their wallets, and we as a country led to this. Of course, through stuff like NAFTA, we have given the foreign markets every power because it was cheaper. It worked out for us. Jeans used to be like $50. They probably are now, I think, with inflation. But there was a point where you would buy like $2 of jeans and a gum, and like that was the economy. Now I think we have so much reliance on the foreign markets. It does have us in a weird spot. I know people personally who said they work for a company. They get a lot of their medicine. It's a science-based company, and they get their medicine from these foreign markets, especially from the big C word. And it's scary to think, like, what if one day they just said, screw you, and now we're out of like we're out of inventory, and they just in a way beat us in a war that we didn't even know we were in, right? And I think that's a fair critique, but we should start manufacturing here before we start doing these sort of drastic changes. And some people say that this is a sort of deal maker. We're gonna put these crazy tariffs and see how the big C word reacts, and it's going to play the art of the deal. But it seems like, from my perspective, and again, we'll see it when we read through it, but how I'm walking into this is that we are making these so-called deals, but there's not really a deal there. And we are, when I say we, Trump is playing this sort of like, look at me, I got the deal in, and I don't even know what the deal is. Mainly because the tariffs, if you like them or love them, you have to, like them or not, you have to admit they've been inconsistent. They've been started, stopped, pushed back, reduced, increased so much that it's hard to tell what's even going on, what's affected right now. So I just think this is where I want to just research. I want to put an hour of just reading through these and try to understand where we are and what deal was even made, because I'm just not sure. So we'll continue. Murphy explained the now importers are left to gamble. Do you front load volumes now in fear of higher tariffs once the pause is over, or do you wait and see in case tariffs are lowered further? This is not a great market to be in. The stock market crumbled because of this uncertainty, not because tariffs inherently are bad, because they're not. They're a tool used to negotiate. I think Trump hit it on the dot that they are used for specific reasons. Are they consistent? Are they clean? No. And the fear of these tariffs getting better or worse, I've made my prediction that Trump is going to just reduce it and say he made a great deal. I made that prediction back in January. I still believe that's going to happen. I still believe when I walk into these articles, we're not going to see much of a deal, if any. But, we'll see. He added that he believes most importers are in the dark of how to best address the situation. William Blair macro analyst Richard de Chazelle wrote Monday that the 90-day tariff deal, which extends to August 14th, is encouraging, but it is not clear what either side is demanding to make these reductions permanent. Ultimately, companies are still in limbo over the extent to which they should be restocking, as this would depend on the scope of any new deal and how soon it would be finalized before these inventories are run down. Shelves start to look empty and companies start to lay off workers. He wrote, last week, global shipping giant Maersk chief executive Vincent Clerc told analysts on company's Q1 earning call that if it is sustained de-escalation in the Trump tariff policy with the C word, there would be a catch-up effect at some point. The situation resolves itself, and then you see much stronger demand coming out of the C word. And I also want to put out there, manufacturing should begin in the U.S. by all means. As we saw with Biden's CHIPS Act, we saw the initiative to start building chips because the fear of Taiwan, not because we were like, oh, we got to give we should be thinking about American workers, but it was more of a fear of Taiwan. Taiwan can be taken over by the big C word, and what do we do since they are one of our biggest exporters when it comes to microchips? And so, our motherboards, I believe. And so that's why we start doing these items, these sort of like political plays of we should start manufacturing. If we found out tomorrow that cars were being worked on in Mexico and assembled in Mexico, and then Mexico goes to war with us, where do we get our cars? So we're in this, we should be doing this, and I think Biden's route was better with the CHIPS Act. I like that. I like when we invest in the city to begin with, in the country. With federal dollars, I think the Infrastructure Act and the CHIPS Act were good policy. Even if they weren't perfect, I think they were a better direction, right? Even though I think they were good, I think many would argue they, lacked in certain areas. I think that's a good direction, right? And then also I want to add that Walmart has announced that they're going to start reflecting the tariff charges. Amazon said they were going to reflect tariff charges in their account statement. When you get your invoice for any item you purchase, you would see that in the subtotal or total, and that's now been taken out because I think Trump put a lot of pressure on them. But like, we're gonna start seeing the tariffs now because it's been some time. The delays are gone now. We're at the point where we should start seeing this total reflection of what the economy is going to be dealing with, and it's going to only get worse unless these tariffs change, which again, it seems like we've reverted back to where we were, or a little bit higher, which is not great. We weren't in a good spot before. I don't think we're in a good spot now. But again, we'll finish this. If tariffs go away, they'll reopen gates for purchase orders and parts purchase. Clerc said if they don't, I think our customers at this stage have a good playbook. This comes in as U.S. importers after the Trump tariff announcement on April 2nd scrambled to cancel any orders to be canceled. That could be canceled. They included toys, sports gear, apparel, shoes, and some furniture coming from the C word. In early May, Murphy estimated the shipping lines were canceling sailings from the C word around 20% to 30% weekly. The only other time such supply decline take place is during the C word New Year and Golden Week, and when the C word's economy largely shuts up shop, according to Murphy. That's crazy. That I like a world where we deal with the big C word as buddies. Like, I think we live in a better world. Obviously, they don't have our best interests, just as Russia. But I do like a world where Obama's 2008 speech against Mitt Romney, or was it Mitt Romney? Mitt Romney was 2012, no? Or was he? I can't remember. It had to be against Mitt Romney. I don't know if it was 2008, though. But when he was going against Mitt Romney, he said, like, your old school ways of saying Russia is our enemy. I really like that approach. I was, for the longest time, even with the Russia collusion going on, the collusion, the mindset of like they're not our buddies, but we got to be cool with them, especially with the fear of nuclear war. Now I'm like, we should be more stern with them, and we should be angry at the Chinas and the Russias of the world. But I also still think, like, if we could salvage a relationship, great. It's past the point. They're crazy. I mean, you saw what Russia did to Ukraine. You're seeing what China's going to do with Taiwan. They are a crazy country. Like, we're not great by all means, but I don't have a control and say of what Russia and China. I don't vote. Oh, I said, God dang it. Everybody, grab your drinks. Oh, yeah. We're grabbing... This is one of those shooters you get at the gas station. We're going to do a shooter. Woo! I love spring break. I love spring break. Woo! Oh, my God. Ugh. Whoever made these 99s, I know what your game is. I respect your game. These are like 99 cents, right? And so, like, we were like, I'm gonna put like an alcohol beverage in the little tiny thing so people can just shoot it up and feel like a little bit of flavor. But I think they just showed a photo of what root beer looks like to this bottle, and that's what I just drank, is what they think root beer tastes like by a person who's never had root beer. Because that was awful. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing. I've had shooters that were like, it was like caramel. and it tasted like ass. You know, it didn't even taste like good ass. It tasted like bad ass. I'll 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 drain it down with wash it down with this alcoholic beverage. Oh my god, I love life, guys. We're hitting downtown tonight. Let's get it. Let's get it started. Y'all ever watch the Mercer Report? Great Canadian politics. They don't run current topics nowadays. They kind of stopped during 2020. But if you want to get into Canadian politics, watch the Mercer Report. It's fun. Okay. However, ING analysts on May 9th reported that Chinese exports bucked expectations of sharper slowdown. Oh, wait. What do we... Guys, what am I doing? We got to look at Knicks. What are the Knicks doing? Guys, the Knicks are 104 against the Celtics. This is... I love Jalen Brunson. I had to remember his name. I love Jalen Brunson. That's my boy. Jalen Brunson is going to save this country. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, back to the article. Bucked expectations for okay. April rising 8.1 versus April 2024, despite a 21% year-over-year drop in exports to the U.S. Some of that may have reflected shipments that were redirected to the U.S., circumventing Trump's tariffs. As of May 14th, the Port of Los Angeles, the major U.S. entry point for cargo ships from China and China mentioned. Well, I already said China, so you know what? Let's. China theme. I don't know. I forgot the word for anthem. So I just typed in China theme song and I'm just seeing clips of China the wrestlers. I'm not saying the country. I'm saying the wrestler. So it doesn't count. But anthem. It goes hard. I like the C word anthem. I think it's a good anthem. Sorry for loving life. But you know who has one of the best? And again, I'm not a bootlicker of Russia. I think they're a country that has some pros and cons. Currently, right now, they are in the negative of how I feel as a country. I think they're devastating Ukraine for no reason, and their expansion is bullshit. I think the approach that Putin wants to have a unified Russia as akin to the USSR is stupid. I think it's dumb. I think he's a war criminal, a dictator, and fuck him. But Russia as a culture is beautiful. The Russian people are great people and strong people. One of the most prolific staples to our earth and our human history is the Russian culture. So when I play the Russian anthem, I'm doing this for the movements, bro. Tell me that doesn't go hard. Like, come on. All right. Shouts to Marxists and Leninists and all that. We're seeing the instead of the carrier sending a service direct from China to Southern California. Some are stopping from China in the southeast. God damn! I just said it like it was nothing. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, maybe seen some degree other countries picking up some of the slack. How Trump's tariffs are affecting shipping stocks. Container liner and logistics company Zim Integrated Shipping surged around 40% Monday. Stock market action on the U.S. C-word deal. Zim shares score. See, what I want to see is, though, I want to see the actual deal. I guess maybe I'm going crazy here, but I'm just seeing like the brief introduction of what's going on, like the TLDR of what's going on, but also like how it is affecting the actual exporting and shipping of these items. But I want to see like what the deal was, because I know the tariffs got reduced to the 35% mark. Where was what did we gain from that by reducing it? Were we just fearful of like the exports actually showing the tariffs of 125%? So we just like, 35, we got a deal. That's what I'm trying to see here. Amazon surged 8%. Walmart edged up weak trading with a buy zone. Target moved higher. Walmart CFO told tariffs are still too high, adding consumers will start seeing higher prices later this month. Home Depot stock advanced about 5%. It is notable coming weeks after retailers so obviously the big conglomerates of the big box stores they're fearful as well. This article's been great. I don't know if I learned anything about the deal itself. Let's see. Trump's trade war win so far. Okay, this seems to be more, and this is NBC, so this would be a centrist left, a center left view of Trump, and it's giving him a win of sort, right? So let's see. More than a month after President Trump focused Liberation Day, just about all America's won in more deadlines, insurance of ongoing talks. With the C word, the U.S. has secured no major changes other than offsetting step downs of recent import duties. What does that mean? Offsetting. The United States and China announced that 90. Ah, damn it! China, you stupid word. China mentioned. Okay, guys, I'm going to do vodka now. Just a straight shot of vodka. Don't worry, guys. I'm under 18. Twitch is going to ban me for saying that. That's messed up. That's messed up. I see colors I've never seen before. That'd be so sick if we created a new color. Why don't we create more colors? What's wrong with this goddamn world? Officials met in Geneva over the weekend for the face-to-face talks since President Donald Trump's shock tariff. Ever notice that it's weird that he's orange, but I think it's weirder if he wasn't orange. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if he looked normal, I don't think it would sit with, like, Trump not orange. I just don't, I don't like that. There was one time, I'm not gonna lie. There was one time he was not orange, and he was kind of, he looked kind of good. I'm not gonna front with y'all. Trump not orange golf outfit, I think is how to find it. He had this fit on where he looked like, I think he was in his golf fit. No, it wasn't golf fit. I forgot what it was. He had his hair slicked back. Do y'all remember that? Am I the only one? Trump slick back hair. He looked. See, okay. I'm gonna say something controversial here now. Actually, now I take that back. When he looks like this, he just looks like a regular, average old white dude. And honestly, he doesn't look that bad. He looks like a normal dude. He definitely looks like an older guy. And the orange stuff is like weird, but it's like appealing. Like, it's like a thing that sticks out. Like, I think for politics, it's great for him. But as a dude, like if he was my uncle, if he was my grandfather, I'd be like, cut the orange. You look fine here. Slick back the hair, wear some oversized clothing. I know he already does with his suits, but like they're big fitted. Like, they even look big as a suit. They don't look tailored. They look big to make him look skinnier. That's something. I'm a big dude. I gained some weight. I know the games we big guys play, and you buy some bigger outfits to make you look less fat. And I think honestly, if he just like wore overgrown or oversized fits like this fit here, kind of look good on him with the slick. Obviously, he looks pale and white, but he looked normal. Like, he looked like he doesn't look bad. Obviously, his face, his demeanor, his rich like bourgeoisness is not appealing to someone like me. But I think he looked fine here. I think this is when Trump looked the healthiest and looked the most normal. I kind of mess with it. I'm now so like stuck with his orange that I can't get away from it. But I think if he looked like this, I don't think he would have a career, truthfully. I think the orange really made him stand out. Like, he was a figure. He's a character. You don't vote for the dry paint wall. You vote for the character, the cartoon. The Biden was hard to stick out, but even he won. So you got to have some character. Like a Pete Buttigieg, even though I think politically I align with him, I don't think there's anything. I can't impersonate his voice. I can't, pick him out of a group of white dudes. Like, he's just another dude. Now me, I'm a unique. I look like a quokka. So take that. Okay. 30% rate on some 20% Trump imposed early in the second term. Okay. But what's the deal? What was the deal? So from the U.S. effective tariff would be now highest. The United States has a larger good trade deficit with the C word than any other. So China. I didn't say it. The C word is putting tariffs on us, right? We feel like we're being ripped off. When you look at it, how their relationships with other country, we do feel like we're getting like the short end of the stick. But where are we now? Like, that's what I'm trying to find. Like, what? I'm gonna go back to the original article because I'm just not sure what the deal. It sounds like we just revoked the tariffs, right? We're disappointed in the ministry part of the UK ahead of our North American partners, President American automotive policy said. But the deal announcement kept coming. Days later, representatives from the US and C-word said they had agreed to a temporarily lower reciprocal tariffs. So they lowered their tariffs too? Wait, but didn't the C-word only give that 120% tariff because we were doing our 125? Like, if they removed the 120, that wasn't a win. We're now just back to where we started, right? Like, that's what I'm trying to understand. What's the percentage now? The firm said... Sorry, my dog is going crazy behind me. You get that shit, Hona. You get that shit. The C-word held outcomes no gauge, saying its resistance to Trump tariffs have been very effective. So it sounds like China's kind of stunting on us. Mentioned. Oh, damn it. China mentioned. This is a good... I'm going to lie to you guys. None of this is alcoholic. I'm not even feeling it. I think I could drive right. Give me a forklift. I will be able to parallel park that upside down. Bet. Someone pull up with a... I'll give you my address. 3552 North Side Street. That's where I live. Pull up with a forklift. I swear to God. I'll park it. I'll park it blindfolded. That's how, like, sober I am. Because all these drinks, nothing to me. Nothing. I get why alcoholics enjoy drinks. I don't. Because they don't affect me. Think about that. That's all I'm going to say. Alrighty. So, think about this. The White House representative continued to hail their agreements while hinting at the more... I'm still confused on what they won, though. Okay. Trump had touted the ability of the tariff raises revenues. And so there was... Okay, I do want to put it out there as well, actually. And I'm glad that I'm reading this line. Trump has been saying there's been a... We garnered enough income in tariffs that, like, it seems like a success of sorts, right? Because tariffs do come with a cost, like, you will charge the people more, right? The consumer unfortunately gets the brunt of the cost, but as a tariff itself, it's just a tax. A tax garners some sort of money, no matter what. So we should be like, it would be weird in a world if we got $0 out of a tariff. Like, that just doesn't make sense. So we should be getting some income. The issue is, and from how I heard from other people and from just minimal stuff that I've read, that the tariffs, their income has been very minimal. Like, we might have gotten, and I'm reading here, tariff income top 16 billion. While that's really great, but the pros and cons is the pros and cons are, were the prices that the consumer has to deal with now at, like, say, Walmart, is it worth the 16 billion? Is that 16 billion going to be worth it more than what we already had prior? The deals that we had, the percentages of the tariffs, did they garner more in GDP or for the consumers more than that 16 billion? I mean, we don't know. I don't know. And that's why I'm reading this. So while this is a record, it hardly dents the federal deficit, which totaled 1.05 trillion, 13% higher than a year ago. And by the way, as I'm reading that, Trump has spent in deficit twice. Both in his first presidency, he was budget deficit spending. That's just proof. I'm not pulling that out of my ass. He was spending in deficit more than any other president, especially in the economy he had from 2015 to 2019. It was a pretty fair economy. We were in a positive trajectory when it came to our inflation and our GDP and our deficit spending. Yet he then came in, and think about this is post-recession. When he came in, he started spending in deficit like we were dealing with a recession still, even though we were far from it. Then when 2020 came, obviously he had to spend in deficit, which is fair completely. This is a global pandemic. You have to spend either through stimulus or buying back stocks, or sorry, not buying stocks, the subsidization of these companies that needed help, that we needed to thrive. And these will cost money. We are printing money. We are paying. We are trying to keep everyone afloat. We're trying to stay away from a recession. Post his presidency, you see Biden trying to avoid the recession he was still spending with the stimulus, but he was also trying to avoid the spending and deficit cuts or spending to the point where it seemed successful. We avoided a recession. We also had the lowest inflation rate than any other country in the world. I think we were like either 1 or 2. We were very close to being the least inflation affected than any other countries. For comparison, the Argentinas of the world had like a 70% interest rate. Obviously, that's a super crazy spectrum that I'm pulling from, because Argentina, I think, is the worst. But you think about that, like places like London probably, I think, had like a 15 to 20%. We had maybe a 7, maybe I'm being crazy, but I think we had just a 2, right? A 2%. So obviously, budget spending and deficit isn't great, but also, if necessary, we have to do it. Now, we are spending in deficit with the whole Doge cuts that have been going on. We've been spending more in deficit to even get that started and running. We've also been we're going to potentially spend in deficit more with the tax cuts that come with this new Tax Policy Act of 2025. So we'll see what happens, but it doesn't seem like we're on the trajectory to take away from our debt, especially now with these tariffs. That seems like they're not even making a dent to it. The 16 billion sounds like a lot, but we're in trillions. We're in the trillions marker, which is, for comparison, think about how much a trillion is. You have to have billions on billions on billions on billions and billions to even get to like a quarter of what trillion is. And now we're in like the 20 trillions territory. This 16 billion is nothing. So not that it's bad, it's just not enough. While that is a record, hardly dents the federal deficit. Net interest alone costs $38 billion a month, and now $578 billion for the current fiscal year. At the same time, the tariffs that Trump has argued would generate significant revenues and encourage U.S. companies to bring back production are now being scaled back. Analysts warn that the even markets are responding positively to the overall set of developments. They risk being lured into complacency given ongoing tensions and stumbling blocks. As part of the UK agreement, the U.S. insisted that it reduces reliance on Chinese. I said Chinese. I think we're in for turbulence more. God damn it. This didn't give me an answer either. Okay, we'll do CNBC. I guess. Trump admin trade truce with the C word, pause the steepest tariffs. The C word good isn't offering much of reprieve to many importers. Yada, 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 yada. While companies are relieved to see a temporary pause from the C word, retailers are still facing very high tariffs and will have an impact on price and supply. I don't know what the deal is. You guys are gonna yell at me. I'm pulling up ChatGPT because I'm very confuzzled. What was the China? I said the C word. China mentioned. That's so good. Okay. So the phase 1 trade agreement between the United States and the C word signed on the 15th under the... Wait, this is 2020 though. What? Ugh. This is pissing me off. Why can't you guys just give me like... We were at 10% in 2024. Now we're at 15. Like, give me that art. I want to know what we're at. Okay, so we reduced the tariffs, right, from 145 to 30. But I think we were at 10% with the C word. China reduced it. God damn it. China mentioned. So they went from 125 to 10 on us, right? But I think we were already there. Okay, what were we before the Liberation Day? So U.S. on C word goods was up to for 145. The C word was exceeded 125. This is pre-Liberation Day, right? I guess what were the C words tariff on US of A on 2024 Jan? So 50% on the US and cold liquefied, 10% on crude oil. China retaliate. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, god damn it. China mentioned. Guys, I'm gonna lie to you real quick. I'm freaking drunk. Like, everything is... Y'all are moving too fast. Y'all need to, like... Calmate way. Okay? Okay? No more move. Everybody stop. No more moving. Thank you. Okay. So the situation just... So, I know the tariffs reduced after liberations, after this trade deal, but what the frick? Okay. It's pissing me off. Okay, what was the deal? What was the other than like, oh god, like when I think of it, okay, I think this is where I'm like losing myself. when I think of deal, I'm thinking like we did these tariffs, right? Because the C word had a 50% tariff on us, right? When we retaliated with 125, they then did 120. So when I hear a deal was made, I hear, oh, we then did something better than the 15% we were already at. Not that, oh, they just went back to their old ways. We went back to the 15. That's not a deal. And when I'm reading this, I don't know. Maybe am I just drunk? Am I freaking crazy? I don't know what the deal is. Like, that's not a deal to me. When we went back to where we were, that's not a deal. Like, if I shot someone, they shot me, and I said, okay, guys, no more shooting each other. That's not a. I didn't like have a better day than I did before we got shot. I'm just at a point where like we're back to where we kind of were. Like, now we're just kind of shot each other. Like, this doesn't sound like a net positive, is what I'm trying to say. Let's go to the Knicks. Let's see what the Knicks are doing. Let's fucking go! The Knicks at 119. We're gonna take on the Pacers, baby. The Knicks versus Pacers, and you know what? I'm gonna say it. Jalen Brunson, baby. Jalen fucking Brunson is taking on the Pacers. Who, by the way, I respect Tyrese Halliburton. Let me give you guys a Tyrese Halliburton had an amazing year back in 2021, 2022, maybe even earlier, and everybody and their mother was like, "That's the new Jordan. That's the new LeBron." And then he fumbled these past few seasons, which is fair. A lot of players don't have that consistency. Let's be real here. Derek Fisher may have killed it during the 2012, whenever they won their chip, and then he kind of fumbled a little bit. It happens with age, what happens with time. But some players bounce back, or some players are role players, and they're still pivotal. Scottie Pippen should be mentioned in the conversation with Michael Jordan as much as Michael Jordan, because he was a pivotal role player. He was amazing, even though he was obviously, he exceeds most role players. He was still a damn good player. So when a Tyrese Halliburton isn't fitting the role and he's not getting the Pacers where he needs to be, that's fine. But he showed up at a time where everybody was dogging on him. And looking back, obviously, hindsight's 2020. Tyrese Halliburton has kept the Pacers alive, and he's taken them to the playoffs, even though they've been eliminated here and there by the round 1s and 2s. They've been successful with his help. So I give nothing but love and respect to Tyrese Halliburton. Even though he's never brought them to the finals, even though he's struggled with them, even though he's still kind of being counted out, I give him nothing but respect because he's a damn good player. Put respect on Tyrese Halliburton's name. I said it. Anybody wants to find me, 335 North Side Street, that's where I stay. I'll scrap. I'll squabble up. Y'all know me. I'll swing on him. I don't care if I just lost my last fight. I'll swing on you. I don't care. I shot a double leg on a 6'3" guy. He kicked my ass. I don't care. I'll do it. I'll shoot. Yeah, you might sub me, but I'll get back up and start swinging at the wall. I don't give a fuck. Tyrese Halliburton, put respect on his name. Jason Tatum, hope you get better. Love you. But Jalen Brunson is that man. Jalen Brunson is that guy. Okay? I said it. 335 North Street. That's where I'm at. Find me. Okay. Let's go Knicks. Bing bong. Okay. President Donald Trump made a temporary trade deal with China, reducing tariffs for... God damn it. That country better change its goddamn name. Y'all ever look up what China and Japan been through? They've been through so... God, I already said it again. You gotta look up the history between those two countries. They fucking hate each other. Also, throw Korea in that mix. They fucking hate each other. What's going on over there? A temporary pause in the sky high tariffs between the two countries. 5 supply chains experts told that even the recent reductions, they expect to see a continued disruption in the supply chain. The whole tariffs being enacted with a pen stroke. How this pulled out the complex. It's short term. So Trump keeps saying that there's going to be some short term pain, which is crazy. As a president, think about that. Like, you gotta get through this. The oil, oil's gonna be like. Imagine if Biden said like oil's gonna be expensive just for a few years. Oh, eggs are gonna be expensive for a few years. They would shoot him. Let's be real here. They'd shoot him. I gotta get a haircut. I gotta chop this hair. Ahead of the inauguration for unloading. Okay, so there were shipping disruptions. Trump feared it. He reduced the tariffs. We saw increasing prices, or at the very least price hikes that were potentially coming, and we got scared. The first announced, but I don't think there was a deal, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I've read these 4 articles. I looked up ChatGPT. I don't think there was a deal. I think we were just scared of the reaction that we were getting both in the stock market and what we were seeing or foreseeing with the shipping fears. I mean, we saw the ports in Los Angeles and Portland being completely depleted from what they previously were over these sort of arbitrary tariffs that had no place to being put in to begin with. So yeah, I'm confused. I'm Confucian. Okay, so let's go to the White House page. I'm curious. So Geneva Secretary, blah 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 blah. We reached an agreement. Substantially moved. Both sides will move their tariffs down. Okay, but we were already there. We're now back at where we were prior. Not even that. We were probably now a little higher than where we were at prior. Okay, so that's not necessarily a deal. We're removing the reciprocal tariffs, which came during your presidency. So that's not a deal. Like a deal, again, to me is if you go and punch someone and then they punch you back. We didn't just, and then we like make a deal. We didn't just say like, okay, guys, we'll never get punched again. We just made a deal to stop punching each other. Now, were we getting punched before? How bad were we getting punched? It didn't seem like we stopped the punching resolution, right? Negotiate. So I guess they're still in negotiation. Maybe that's why we haven't got any sort of like formal agreement. But as I read this, it doesn't seem like, I don't see a concrete answer of like where are we better than where we were before? I don't know what the talks are. And then we're gonna do more tariffs anyway. And then now I'm seeing that that C word bought none of the extra 200 billion of exports. What was the deal? What was the deal? Other than that, we just took off was that it? I'm assuming, okay, that there's more to come, right? That C word is going to eventually come up with a deal with the U.S. and vice versa. Like they're going to come with a deal with each other in the coming days, in the coming weeks, that will reflect something better than what we had prior to like the Biden eras and the Trump 1 presidency. Is that where we're at? Because right now I'm really confuzzled. I'm reading this like, okay, that these reciprocal tariffs have been removed. Great, that's a good step. But let's be fair, we were already out of that before Trump 2, right? Like we didn't have that anyway. It's like he set the house on fire. He put it out and said, yeah, I put the house is not fire anymore. And it's like, great, but you did that. Like, well, I don't think you should get any praise for getting the reciprocal tariffs removed. I'm sorry. Like, am I crazy? So he's going to speak with Xi. Both sides continue to take swipes at each other. The U.S. commerce. Guys, I'm sorry. I can't do this. I don't think there's much I can say. I don't think there is an announcement to this. I don't think there's like a reason for me to even look in this any further. It doesn't seem like there's a deal. It doesn't seem like there's much of a change post Liberation Day. Like we're just back to where we were before Liberation Day. Okay, let me see. Trump imposed a 10%. So the 10% wasn't even on. What? Okay, so it looks like he imposed those 15 and 10%. I thought those already existed before us. What was the C words tariff on U.S. goods in 2024? Okay, this is good. Okay, this is like an up-to-date chart. Okay, so these are the C words tariffs. They were pretty aligned to what we were putting on them. 21%, 19%. Okay, they were a little bit higher, but then even during his first presidency, they were a little like they spiked under him. And I think that was during his C-word trade deal that he had back in 2018, 2019. Because I'm seeing it here, 2018, 19. I remember reading an article earlier this stream that... Okay, this is pissing me off. Did we even have an issue with China? God damn it. Drink up, you cowards. I can see you. I don't think we even had an issue with them. I don't even think we had a problem with them. Why did we do this? I miss my grandma. She was a great lady. You guys don't like her. It doesn't even look like we had that much of a difference. We had more tariffs on them. What? 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 We were putting... So, obviously, the snapshot I see of 2018, that's not the entirety of the trade war we have with this country. Obviously, when we looked at the Wikipedia right now, it seemed to even go back to the Clinton era, where, like, we were tariffing each other. So, obviously, this is not the greatest snapshot, but when I look at 2018, we were throwing tariffs on them. They were throwing tariffs on us. Why the fuck are we touting this as a deal? This wasn't a deal. None of this is a fucking deal. Why the fuck did you guys elect this guy? I didn't vote for him. Not my president. Hashtag me too. Ugh. I'm so drunk. Like, I'm seeing stuff y'all never thought of. I figured out time travel. Y'all are over there worried about the Real Housewives. I'm worried about making my bread. That's all, you know? Guys, I'm gonna be real. I can't do this. I'm done. I think we've come to realize that the deal did not exist. A deal is not burning a house down and then putting the fire out and saying, "Look, guys, I put the fire. You started the fire." Like, it seems like reciprocal tariffs being removed is not necessary. I mean, you can tout it as a deal. I don't think it's a deal. I think putting us back to where we were with a little bit higher percentage is not great. And the fears from the consumers are there, and it doesn't seem like a short-term pain is going to actually be a short-term pain. It seems like a long-term pain because you don't know how to admit that this is probably a bad. I mean, it looks I don't even blame us at this point. The U.S. got to just stick this through because we're going to look like cowards if we pull back. And I think everyone's just going to suffer, both the C words people and the U.S. people. So, yeah, I guess you get what you voted for, but damn, this sucks. All right, well, I think I'm just going to end it here. Before we do, though, let's just look at the Knicks, baby! Jason Tatum, bing bong! Knicks versus... Let's just look at Knicks versus... I just want to see that final shot. Let's see what's going on at New York. Bing bong! Bing bong! Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, God. Not dead meat. Not dead meat. Sorry. The Knicks, baby. Jason Tatum.
You pick the Celtics every game, nigga.
The Knicks, baby. The Knicks, baby. The Knicks, baby. Okay. All right. Love y'all. Y'all be safe. I'm going to go eat. If you guys still want to fight me, squabble up. I'm on 335 North Street, Side Street. My house is pink and purple. If y'all want to see me parallel park a forklift, I can do that as well. If y'all want to do 1v1s ISO, I'm so down with it. Just hit me up. Bing bong.